Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, collectors of all ages, it is AussieVerse, your home of comics, music, wrestling, and more. We are very grateful that you are here to watch this review. I am Omnibo, joined by Single Issue Steve. How are you, sir?
Mate, I'm always good. I'm excited. Great to see you again. And I'm excited to talk about what we're going to talk about for this episode. But you keep going.
We are proudly sponsored by Comic Bookaroo, and we want to also give a quick shout out to our for-lifers. These are our paid members that pay a small fee each and every single month to make AussieVerse just that little bit better than what it is. If you want to get your own perks and join our Instagram chat, feel free to click the link and be a for-lifer yourself. Otherwise, the best way to support AussieVerse is by simply subscribing to the channel, liking the videos, commenting, and all of that other YouTube stuff. Now, we are here today to talk about a graphic novel that was recently released. It is by Redback Publishing. And the reason why Steve and I have picked this graphic novel up is because it is written and drawn by people that we have had on the show before, one in particular numerous times. We are talking about Rob Lisle, yeah, g'day, mate, and Ben Sullivan, two incredibly fantastic people in the comic book, and not just comic book world, but the literary world now, and literal world, I think, both of them. Literal
Correct.
And literal.
Both.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
And the book that they have released is Free Monkeys.
Free Monkeys.
Now, as you can see, this book isn't small. It isn't huge either. It's actually a good, decent size and coming in at about 260 pages or so. Now, I'll quickly tell you what this book is about, and then Steve can take it away with his thoughts on the actual book. So Free Monkeys, it does start off with a gentleman by the name of Archibald Templeton, who's looking to revive his family's fallen empire with the help of his loyal monkey butlers. But things quickly spiral out of control when he creates a Frankenstein monkey. Now, he must deal with a chaotic, rampaging creation while his trusty apes spring into action and save the day. But meanwhile, on the weird side of town, Monty, a mischievous monkey trapped in a rundown animal rescue, is plotting his escape. His plan is working when his dream of freedom is suddenly dashed. Soon, Monty finds himself at the Templeton Manor leading a monkey butler revolution. This is a heartful, action-packed, silly, joked, great book. It's about overcoming disappointment, chasing your dreams, and never giving up. Stephen.
How am I supposed to follow on from that? That was amazing.
Well, I was now it's your thoughts on it. Explain why. I understand what the book was about.
Exactly right. This book is definitely aimed at kids. It's a kids book, and it's a lot of fun. Seriously, there were pages in here I actually laughed out loud when I was reading them. So it doesn't normally happen when I read books, but this one has some really, really funny stuff in it, and it's a good journey. It's fun. For younger people who might get a bit distracted when they're reading, for instance, it just keeps moving along, and it clicks over, and there's always something exciting and a new bit of the adventure and cool stuff. And monkeys who don't know how to dispose of rubbish properly. My favorite page that made me laugh, I don't know why, but I'll show this to everybody. There's a particular page where there's a young lady who is looking for, I won't say too much, but looking for Monty, and she comes across one of the monkeys. And I'm going to ask Bo, actually, I'm going to ask you before I do this, mate, who was your favorite monkey from the story?
Okay, so first of all, look, we're not going to go over any spoilers because we do want people to read this themselves. But as Steve said, there is different monkeys in this book. There is Scooter, there is No Brainer, there is Sonar, there is Brainer, and then there's obviously Monty as well. I like No Brainer.
Correct answer.
Well, my answer was because this, we find out at the end of the story something that he was hiding that
Yes.
I thought was quite clever of that little monkey. Why was it your favorite?
I could just sometimes when people draw images and with books and stuff, you get a certain what's the best way to describe it? A certain vibe about the character. I could just hear this character's voice in my head, just sounding like an absolute moron, and it just made me laugh. And that's why I love this is my favorite page, and it's only something small, and this will give you an example of what the artwork's like as well, because it's very, very good. Ben is amazing, but just look. Hello, wet lady. I don't know why. That just made me laugh out loud. But as you read through the story, you'll actually understand why and who the wet lady is. But it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun. It really is just a lot of fun.
That is so funny that you pointed out that particular page, because I've got the very next page, 106, pointed out.
6.
And I'm not going to put it on screen, but I just thought what that monkey said on that page really made me laugh.
Yes.
And okay, so I'm going to start again now. Okay, so here you have a graphic novel that is aimed at children. However, I like to think we're adults. Adults can read this book and be thoroughly entertained as well. Now, when you do open up the book and you do look at the artwork, it leads me to thinking of stories such as Bone, for example, where the artwork on the surface looks very, very simple. If you actually put your eye closer towards it, you'll see it's actually not that simple. But from a bird's eye view, it does look simple. And the writing is read very simply as well, which is why you can get through so many pages so quickly. However, I know the writer and the artist, and I know for a fact that they've written and drawn it like this specifically for a reason, because it's a children's book first and foremost. They don't want to make it overly complicated. Yep. They want to make it that you can read this rather easily, and it's just a lot of fun. I'm going to go through some pages here.
It's the best way to describe it, mate. It's just a fun read. Fun read. Yeah, the artwork is just sensational, and Rob, the way Rob writes as well, the whole thing just keeps ticking over. And it's just, one thing happens and then bang, something else happens, and then bang, something else happens, and it's just constantly like. By the end of the book, you're like, "Whoa, geez, what just happened?" Loved it.
And I think another beautiful thing about this book as well is that, including myself, when people want me to read black and white books, it's exactly the same with black and white movies. I know for a fact that it's just a psychological thing, because I have watched plenty of black and white movies that I've loved, and I have read plenty of black and white comics that I loved as well. However, when somebody wants me to read or watch something new that's black and white, I instantly get this, it's black and white. Yep. I don't really want to, But again, just like Bone as well, because I read Bone in black and white, when you start reading it from the very first panel, you completely not forget, but you don't even realize that it's black and white. And you just keep reading it and enjoying the storyline. And I think to be able to read a book and see the monkeys as either brown, black, white, whatever it is that you're seeing in your imagination, but it's not actually there on the paper, that really is a testament to, I don't know if it's the writing or the artist, but
both.
It's a good testament to both of them. Like, I'm looking at a page with a turtle now, and the turtle is not green, it's black, but you're looking at it and you certainly imagine that this turtle is green. Yeah. Because you're just enjoying the story, right?
The other thing I like about that you mentioned, mate, is the fact that it's black and white, because obviously, with different monkeys, there's potentially lots of different color. I mean, if you look at at the cover itself. You know, they're all in different colors and stuff. But I think having it black and white, you get to see the images beautifully, but also too, because it's not bombarded with colors and stuff like that for kids, it's probably going to be easier to read because it's not that much of a distraction because it's not in full color, if that makes sense.
Now, it looks to me like they have set the tone from one line at the end of the book that there could possibly be some more in the future. If that's the case, then I'm really looking forward to that, because then that means that even though this is a one and done story, that means you don't need to read anything before it. You don't need to read anything after it. You can enjoy it completely on its own. I would enjoy some more. Some more. And you can pick this up at so many different places. You can go to Angus and Robertson. You can go to Booktopia. You can go to the Nile. You can go to Books Direct, Lamont Books. You can go to Rob Lisle's own website at psychojanitor.com. He also has his own Substack as well, and his own newsletter and things like that. So there are plenty of ways to find this book. If you don't know any of those places, just go and type in Free Monkeys.
The other thing too, one of the other things as well, mate, that we didn't mention is it's also available through Scholastic Australia. So for those of you who've got kids, Scholastic Australia are absolutely massive, and a lot of people get their book list and things or recommended readings and that through the school system from this particular page. So the fact that the boys have actually got this into Scholastic Australia, this could end up in schools nationwide, which would be absolutely huge. And in all those libraries, I mean, seriously, if your kids are at primary school, especially, get them to ask their library to get this in if they haven't got it already, because it's an awesome read.
And the other thing that I do like about it is knowing the author and the artist personally. If you do look up their work individually, that is Rob Lisle and Ben Sullivan, you will see that these individuals are completely capable, and not just capable, but as far as I'm concerned, knock it out of the park. They are completely talented, where there are so many other things that they've written and drawn, and it's so different to Free Monkeys. So it's interesting to me that both of these guys, obviously, I'm going to assume Rob came up with the idea himself, and he wanted
a Rob idea.
and he wanted Ben to be the artist. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is that, like, I'll talk about Ben for a second. I've seen Ben's artwork in other comic books that is completely different to this, completely different. And if I looked at this book, I wouldn't have guessed it was Ben at all, because
agreed.
I didn't know Ben could change his style so much to fit the tone of the book. And with Rob, the author, look, I'm not going to lie. If somebody said to me, name an Australian writer that wrote this, Rob could have popped in my head, because it does seem like a Rob book. However, when I do look at other Rob's works, because he has had novels and other comics as well, there is things that are completely different to this, and it's really worth checking out both their individual stuff. So, yeah, man. I mean, I don't know really what else to really say about it.
I would say one thing. Once you get the book, guys, check out on the very back page. I won't show you completely, but there's a bit of a backstory of the two amazing people who created this book. So have a look at their blurbs, check them out. But also, if you just in general, if you're a comic book fan, have a look for Rob Lisle and also Ben Sullivan's work in their other things they do. Like I know Ben's written some stuff or drawn some stuff for our friends at Anna, or fans in Anna the band. He's written a comic about the band, or drawn a comic about the band as well. Rob's done stuff like humorous books and things like The Devil's Toilet, and a really, really interesting one called Sluggish, which is about depression and mental illness and stuff like that, which is, it's not the sort of thing you'd expect a comic book reader to read, but it's actually a very, very interesting story and a really interesting take on it too. So definitely stuff for more mature ages, but this is just fun. Sorry, mate, I interrupted. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, that's cool. I was going to say, and if you are parents that want your kids to start reading and you're not sure how to get them to start reading, or if you just want them to read anything at all, this is the perfect gateway to read not just comics, but reading in general.
Yeah. Well said, mate.
It's not only, in conclusion, I guess, because we'll end it here. This is a funny, first and foremost, funny book, but it's very, very smart as well in the way that it's constructed, the way that it's presented, and the way that it flows from beginning to end. This is something that I could honestly see being made into some sort of animation. It wouldn't even be that long, I don't think. But yeah, seriously, how much do you remember how much this cost you?
I think this cost me $20.
Yeah, I was going to say somewhere between $20 and $30. I think.
Yeah, something along those lines. Might have been 25, but $25 for a great book. Which it's not one of those books where you just read it once and go, okay, I've read that. Yeah, put it aside. I guarantee this is the kind of book that your kids would love to read over and over and over again. This easily could become a well-loved family book.
And with 100%. That, how many bananas do you give it?
Whoa! Out of what?
Out of 5 bananas.
Out of 5 bananas? I'm giving it 5 out of 5 bananas, and the bananas are all ripe.
The bananas are all ripe?
All ripe. Yep. All ripe. No blemishes on the skin. Perfect bananas. 5 out of 5 perfect bananas.
And what is AussieVerse, Steve?
I was going to say it's bananas, but it's actually for life.
Free monkeys. Grab it now.